just like that. And Jack, she's got a whole like vision for accountability in the intel world. Cut 193.
But the thing here, Jesse, is like we got to take a step back because this is just barely scratching the surface. When you see what these people were saying, and thanks to Chris Rufo for putting it all out online, they were brazen in using an NSA platform intended for professional use to conduct this kind of really horrific behavior. And they were brazen in doing this because when was the last time anyone was really held accountable?
Held accountable, Jack. And then I'm going to one more point, and I'm going to throw it to you. Now we're even looking at this new ruling out of the UK, which the UK is forcing Apple to create a backdoor into their platform. And there is concerns that this international espionage, collaboration, we call it Five Eyes, or maybe there's other ways in, could use that as a backdoor into Americans' cell phones. Jack, break it all down for us. The intel community is getting a shakeup.
Well, wow, there's obviously quite a bit there. So I'll take it in reverse order. So with what this piece that's coming down from DNI regarding the UK's backdoor into Apple, into your cloud system, obviously your data, that's where your messages are, that's where your phone calls can take place. If there's voicemail, voice messages, people are using that in transcription, so much more. So that's all going to be in there. Now, something that we saw in the intel community, of course, people know about Five Eyes. And so, working within the Five Eyes community, myself as an American intelligence officer, you could receive information from the British. You could also they could receive information from us. But remember, local laws, national laws in the United States and in the United Kingdom restrict you from using the intelligence services against your own citizens. So here in the United States, we have the NSA. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the NSA has never been used to spy on Americans, but I'll get there in a second. I'm just talking about the boilerplate. I'm talking about how it works on paper. Then the UK is the same issue. Their version of the NSA is called GCHQ. And so GCHQ operates on government communications headquarters, and that operates under the same auspices. They're not supposed to go after U.S. citizens, or actually, UK citizens, or in the U.S., it's actually broadened into U.S. persons. So that could include people with green cards. It can include business entities, all sorts of things. So it's not just Charlie Kirk, but it's also Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action, and all the different things that would still count as a U.S. person under the auspices of NSA authorities. Obviously, with the point being that you're not supposed to just be sucking down warrantless wiretapping of anyone in the United States. If you want to do that, open up a criminal investigation. So what do? Well, you use something called parallel reconstruction, whereby if you're a bad actor, you can go to, if you're in the NSA, you can go to the British and you can say, hey, we want to look up something that an American's doing. So we want you to actually go and collect the information, pull that out of their cell phone, and potentially this backdoor is one way that they're talking about it for the people at GCHQ. They can pull it out of the Apple iPhone, suck up all your data, bring it to the UK. Then the UK writes the report, shares that with the United States, so shares it with the NSA sitting there at Fort Meade, and then boom, now you've got the information on a US citizen without you collecting it yourself. And so there's all sorts of these backdoors. There's also ways to use the FISA warrant. This, of course, was done with General Flynn. I think people famously know that one, where they were spying on Sergei Kislyak, who was the Russian ambassador at the time, but General Flynn, in his capacity as the national security advisor to President Trump, was having phone conversations with him. Well, the NSA was spying on the Russian side, so they turned around and pulled up and said, oh, he's talking to an American who seems like he's important. Who could that be? It's General Flynn. Then they took that highly, highly classified transcript, which was obtained through that FISA warrant on the Russian, and what did they do? They leaked it to David Ignatius over at the Washington Post. Keep in mind, by the way, this is I'd love for Kash Patel, I know that he's going back to 2016 and looking at some of these crimes against the spying and the wiretapping of the Trump administration, as well as these honeypot operations. Obviously something that I'd certainly encourage them to look into. Who unmasked General Flynn, and then who leaked that highly classified transcript to the Washington Post. So not only, Andrew, are these things that Tulsi Gabbard is getting proactive about and looking at ways to prevent future Americans for having to face the consequences of these abuses. But we've also got Kash Patel in place now where he can go after some of the people who were committing those abuses because, for all we know, some of those individuals could be in these very same NSA chat rooms that
I can almost guarantee.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.